review. This time it's the Nike Joyride Run Flyknit.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Back from the dead.
Alright, so I've got the Nike Joyride Run Flyknit here, and this is a review that I've been looking forward to for the past couple weeks since I got the shoe. One, because it's introducing new technology from Nike, but two, and most importantly, it marks the last day that I have to own this shoe before I can ship it back and get my damn money back for this thing. So the Joyride Run Flyknit comes out in a couple days, and I wanted to get a review out there to you guys shortly before the launch of this shoe. That way you guys know what to expect, whether you should or shouldn't buy the shoe. So first off, we'll start by talking about the looks of the shoe. This shoe, I kind of like the looks of, at least in this colorway, because it reminds me of something that looks like it was designed by Pixar. I feel like this would be the shoe you would get if Pixar and Nike were to do a collaboration. Just the oranges, the blues, the teals, the whites. It just, I don't know why, something about this shoe reminds me of Toy Story. So from a looks perspective, I think it's a really good looking shoe. I really appreciate what Nike did here in the midsole and especially the heel by really showcasing the Joyride little beads that they've just come out with. It gives it kind of a futuristic look and really makes the shoe stand out from other shoes out there on the market. And I believe this is going to be the aspect of the shoe that most people appreciate, if they appreciate anything about the shoe. And that is, this shoe feels very free, very giving, just very plush around your foot. And that's what Nike designed this for. This shoe is supposed to be a recovery run shoe. Nike said that in the marketing for this shoe and made it very clear that this isn't a long run shoe. It's not a speed shoe. It's definitely not a track bike. It is a recovery run shoe, and with that, it should feel very soft, very forgiving, very mellow. It should bring back some of the life into your legs and feet that you had lost in a previous hard run or race. So with that, we have the Flyknit on the upper mixed with all this neoprene that wraps around into a complete booty. And the feeling of that around your foot is like a very smooth, buttery sock almost. It fits just tight enough to wrap around your foot for enough structure and support, but is very giving to let your foot move without material restricting it and causing any unnecessary pressure. The only thing I didn't like about the upper doesn't have anything to do with this shoe specifically. It has to do with the fact it has Flyknit. Now, I love knit shoes. I love the Ultra Boost. I love Saucony. But I don't like Flyknit usually. And that's because Flyknit is meant to fit and restrict tighter around your foot like a sock. But the idea is that over time, the Flyknit will stretch and bend in the places of your foot where it needs it, and it will accommodate your foot, almost like a custom fit. But it just doesn't really work for me. I tend to get a ton of pressure along the side of my foot here that presses against that muscle and tendon and creates early on soreness on the side of my foot and irritation. You know, over time it does stretch out and fit proper like it's supposed to, but it's just not something I personally really like. But if you like Flyknit, this is exactly what you'd expect out of it. It feels much like the Epic React upper, at least in the toe box and the outside of the foot here. Now, the most important aspect of this shoe is this midsole. So you have an entire midsole structure here, or a cage made out of React. All this baby blue that you see is React foam, with just a little bit of this orange high wear rubber to help the shoe last as long as possible. Inside we have the 4 pockets of the Joyride bead bags, or bean bags? Bean bags. Most of it being in the heel. Now, this provides a very unique ride and feeling underfoot that I haven't felt in any other shoe, and I doubt any other shoe has exactly this same feeling. And part of that is because, one, Nike put these beans or beads in individual pods to help them dissipate more evenly. But not only that, but there is no extra sock liner in here. The upper is made with a sewn in thin fabric for a sock liner. It's just a piece of fabric that actually covers the bead filled pockets that are in the midsole. And the reason they did this is when you slip it on, immediately you think to yourself, what the f is this? And directly under your foot, different areas where the bags are at, and you can kind of feel the beads kind of poking through a little bit. So as you take steps in this shoe, it feels like you're walking on those bean bags that are filled with like those little nylon beads, and it feels like you're getting a massage under your foot. And I would say from the perspective of wearing this as a walking shoe, it is fantastic. You do get a foot massage out of it under the bottom of your foot. It does refresh your muscles, and from a recovery standpoint, when walking in the shoe, I think it's absolutely fantastic and really does keep the feet feeling fresh and happy. On to the performance of this shoe, and that is where I call bullshit to Nike. And that is that they say this should be used as a recovery shoe for short miles, for short recovery runs. And I have taken this for some medium length runs. I've taken it for short runs, short jogs at a slow pace, at a faster pace. I've tried lots of things except a long run in these. And I can say without a doubt, for me personally, this is not a shoe you want to run in. This isn't even a shoe you want to jog in unless it's maybe a mile or less. Because of that fabric that is sitting over those bags, because it's just a fabric and not a solid piece of material, what happens is that fabric slides around as your foot presses down on top of the bean bags, and that slipping and sliding occurs under your foot and against your sock and creates a ton of rubbing. And I got the worst blister I've ever had from a pair of running shoes. After 2 years of running, trying about 40 different pairs of shoes, this was the first blister I'd gotten. I've run 4 marathons, 6 half marathons, 2,000 miles in the past year. And so from the perspective of performance of running, this is a no-go. As a walking shoe, I think it's absolutely fantastic. So, you know, I had to ding it there because Nike is saying this is something you could do short runs in. Also, another area where I have to call BS on Nike is they say this shoe is very responsive, and it is the absolute opposite of that. It does have a lot of React foam, and when you land in the areas of the React, you can feel it respond back like React naturally would. But when you land more towards the middle of the foot, on the areas where those bean bags are, immediately you feel your foot sink down and you feel those beads kind of crunch under your foot, which is fine for a massaging feeling, for walking, for a recovery. But as far as running goes, your foot lands and it crunches down and sinks in, and when you try to toe off and lift your leg back up, you feel almost like you're in mud a little bit. You feel like your foot's kind of being held back just a bit, like there's a bit of magnetism between you and the earth. So yeah, from the perspective of this being a responsive shoe, it is not at all. It could be that the material that those beads are made out of is a responsive material, but the fact that they're in little individual beads that are slipping and sliding around together just completely kills any of that response they may have. So yeah, because of that, I definitely marked the shoe down. It's not a performance shoe, it's not a running shoe, it's not a jogging shoe. It's a walking shoe. And I like to think of this not as a running shoe, but almost another realm of shoes that is yet to be defined, and that would be a running supplement shoe. And that'd be any shoe that you would wear that supplements your running, but you're not using for running. And with that said, you know, this would be a great shoe for anyone who wants that off-day shoe or just a little warm-up shoe, something that'll massage your feet. The first thing that comes to mind with this shoe is it'd actually be perfect for the day after a race, especially like a marathon where your foot muscles are just beat to hell. This would be absolutely amazing to wear. And because of that, I call it a running supplement shoe. Another way I like to put this shoe is I think of it as like the Vaporfly of recovery. You know, the Vaporfly has one purpose, and it is to be the best marathon racing shoe. It's not supposed to be good for anything else but that. Well, this is kind of the same thing, but for recovery. It ain't good for anything except recovery from getting beat up legs and beat up feet. But for that one reason, it is very, very good. With that said though, it is hard for me to recommend this shoe to anyone. Like I said, I would not recommend this as a running shoe to anyone whatsoever. I would recommend it as a supplement to your running lineup, but it's $180. And for a shoe that most of us would only wear, you know, casually, on our off days, you know, you're not going to get a lot of wear out of the shoe. And $180 is a lot of money to sink into a shoe that's not going to see much use. So because of that, you know, I don't know who this shoe would be good for. I mean, if you have plenty of cash and you don't mind spending it, I say get it. It's a pretty neat looking shoe and it feels great. But yeah, if you're looking for something in your running lineup, I would wait. I would not be surprised if this thing ends up in Nike outlets within a couple months for like 30-40% off. And at under $150, let's say $120, I think this shoe is definitely worth having as a supplement to your other shoes. So, you know, keep an eye out for sales on this. Once it drops in price, I would suggest buying it to have as a recovery shoe. If I had to guess, I would say Nike's goal with this shoe was to kind of compete with the Ultra Boost. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but they're the same price. They're similar weight, similar kind of structure. They both kind of lean more towards the fashion and the style than they do towards being a running shoe. They're more of a style shoe that you could run in, but most people wouldn't want to. So I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting shoe. I think, you know, anytime shoe companies come out with new technology, I'm all about it. I love to see where they take these things and how far they can push the limits. And yeah, I mean, it felt great to walk in. You know, most people are giving really bad reviews of this thing, and I don't blame them. But I am sticking to the fact that Nike said this is a recovery shoe. And because of that, if I'm grading it on that scale, you know, I can say it actually is good. Just not for running. So anyways, I gave this shoe a 74 out of 100. You know, if I was grading it as a running shoe, like a trainer, it probably would have got much, much less. But you know, it has its flaws, many of them, but it also has some really nice points to it that you're not going to find in any other shoe. So I don't know, you know, it's pretty good. It's got its ups and downs. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe down below. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this shoe. I know some of you will be trying it, some of you are steering clear of it. Just let me know what you think, and especially if you try it, I want to see what your thoughts are. See if anyone absolutely loves this thing. So far I haven't found anyone that does, so let me know. Also check out the website pursuing262.com for the breakdown of the score that I gave the shoe. Up next is probably the Skechers Speed Elite. I don't know. Shoes keep launching before that one and I end up doing a review on them, so I don't know, but I think that one's next. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys.